At a moment when the war seemed endless and the world was hanging by a thread, one American weapon changed everything. Alliances were fragile, battles were brutal, and most soldiers were still fighting with slow bolt-action rifles, firing one shot at a time. But the United States had something different: the M1 Garand, the standard rifle of American infantry, and the first semi-automatic rifle widely used in combat. While other armies still had to reload after every shot, American soldiers kept firing, faster, deadlier, relentless. On the battlefield, that difference meant everything: more firepower, more pressure on the enemy, more chances of survival. And it didn't go unnoticed. General George S. Patton himself called the M1 Garand the greatest battle implement ever devised. This wasn't just a rifle, it was a turning point, a weapon that helped shape the course of a global war. But to understand how the M1 Garand became this symbol of battlefield superiority, we need to go back a bit. Before World War II, most armies still relied on manually operated rifles, the so-called bolt-action rifles, reliable but limited. After every shot, the soldier had to cycle the action manually, losing precious time that, in combat, could mean the difference between life and death. Meanwhile, the United States began investing in something different: a rifle that could keep firing without the need to manually reload after each shot. That's where John C. Garand comes in, the engineer responsible for developing a weapon that would forever change the dynamics of modern infantry. The project didn't happen overnight. It took years of testing, failures, and refinements. The goal was clear: to create a rifle that was reliable, durable, and above all, faster than anything else on the battlefield. In 1936, the M1 Garand was officially adopted by the United States Army. And at that moment, few could truly grasp the impact that decision would have in the years to come. When the war began, the advantage wasn't immediately obvious, but as combat intensified, especially in Europe and the Pacific, the difference became clear. While soldiers from other nations fired one shot, American troops fired several. That ability to maintain continuous fire created immense psychological pressure on the enemy. It wasn't just about hitting targets, it was about controlling the battlefield, dictating the pace of combat, and forcing the opponent back. In intense battles like D-Day in Normandy, that advantage proved decisive. Soldiers landing under heavy fire needed every possible edge, and the M1 Garand delivered exactly that: speed, consistency, and power. But the impact of the M1 Garand wasn't just technical. It changed the way soldiers fought. With greater confidence in their weapon, their behavior in combat shifted as well. More aggressive advances, faster reactions, and a more dominant presence on the battlefield. There was also an iconic detail: the distinctive metallic ping when the empty clip was ejected. A sound that became etched in the memory of those who experienced the war. For some, it was just a mechanical detail. For others, it was the sound of survival. Over the course of the war, millions of units were produced. The M1 Garand was present in nearly every major theater of operations involving the United States. From war-torn Europe to the islands of the Pacific, from freezing cold to suffocating heat. And in all of those environments, one thing remained constant: its reliability. Soldiers trusted the M1 Garand not just as a tool, but as something that could save their lives. And in war, that's worth more than any technology. The recognition from George S. Patton wasn't an exaggeration. To him, and to many others, the M1 Garand represented exactly what a combat weapon should be: efficient, reliable, and decisive. When the war came to an end, the legacy of the M1 Garand was already cemented. It didn't just help the United States win battles. It helped redefine the standard for infantry weapons worldwide. After it, the concept of a semi-automatic rifle was no longer innovation. It became necessity. Other nations rushed to catch up. New designs emerged, and modern warfare was never the same again. But maybe the greatest impact of the M1 Garand isn't just in its technology or statistics. It's in the stories, in the soldiers who relied on it, in the battles where it made the difference, in the moments when a few extra seconds and a few extra shots decided entire fates. Because in the end, weapons don't win wars alone, but some change everything. And the M1 Garand was one of them. Now let me ask you, to what extent does technology determine the outcome of a war? And without weapons like this, would history have been different? If you want to keep understanding how decisions, strategies, and technology shape the greatest conflicts in human history, watch the full video on the channel and make sure to follow, because here you'll understand war the way it really happened.